Welcome back to the channel, you kooks. We're the Vankookz, Danny and Kevin, and this is Vankookz Live. Today we're coming at you from beautiful Yosemite Valley. You can see some beautiful waterfalls and fall foliage, but it's winter. Anyways, first off, thanks to everyone who watched that new video, How to Stay Warm in the Winter. If you haven't, check that out. Get on there and see how to stay warm. And we got a van life OG. Lee's been in the game for a long time. And before we get into Lee, just want to shout out to some of you kooks out there. I see Drifter Journey.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Taylor and Chris. We got Neil the Earthling. So if you guys haven't checked out Where Are You From? The poetry book, you're blowing it. I see Ronald's back. Oh, Fern.
Yay, Fern.
Fern says she can't hear, but can you guys hear us out there? But anyways, back to our guest, Lee, a.k.a. Freedom the Vanshin, a.k.a.
Vanny ain't no joke, a.k.a. King Kook.
King Kook. So without further ado, we are going to bring on Lee, the van life legend. So welcome to the channel, Lee.
Kook, 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 kook.
Kook, kook, kook.
It's Kooky over here.
It's Kooky over there.
It's Kooky everywhere.
It's beautiful over here.
It is Kooky everywhere.
So how's it going, Lee?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
We're doing good. Is everyone having an all right time hearing us out there?
Oh, by the way, Wander says woof
Yeah,
woof.
okay. Woof, woof, Wander.
All right, so we got the Venmo Vankookz in there last time. Some of you guys were so gracious to donate, and if anyone wants to donate, and we'll get you guys back for last week we got some fresh Vankookz stickers. So
yeah,
let's get those out there. We got the Venmo here. The YouTube donations, they take like half your money, so
gotta get your Vankookz stickers.
Oh
Yeah. On deck. I love it.
All right, so we met Lee at Descend on Bend, what, 2 or 3 years ago now? Or 2, was it?
3 years ago now.
It was
right?
a while back.
That was a weird concept, Danny and Kevin.
But he pulled us out of the sand, and we've been friends ever since. So, Lee, why don't you just tell us about how you got into van life, how long you've been doing it, and your just kind of journey up to this moment.
Yeah, so I've been doing it for like 6 years. How I got into life, basically, I was living paycheck to paycheck. I was like working at the skateboard company. I guess like my boss, like there's a few people with like vans that rode for like her company, I guess. And my boss kind of took me to the side and showed me his trailer. He's like, if I didn't have a wife and kids, I just like live in this on the side of the building. And I'm like, I guess like I thought about it, and I just made like this pros and cons list. And that's like really put it into perspective, because like, I was living paycheck to paycheck, and that sucks, and like you can't like do anything you really want to do. You're just like slaving away. The pros and cons list, and I was like, wow, there's way more pros than cons. And so then like I was like, I just put all my stuff in storage, and I was like looking for vans every day. I saved $1,500, and I saw on Craigslist this $1,500 van. Damn, if that thing drives, I'm buying it. It drove, so yeah, I didn't even have, when I first like moved in too, I didn't even like know how I was gonna cook a meal at first. I guess I was kind of, nothing changed in my life except for the living situation. I kept my regular job, and that was cool because like they had like a shower and all the yeah, so that made it cool. Like they had a washing machine even. They made they had a, I just parked outside their building sometimes and got the internet right through the wall like at night, like, but that made it easier to start. But yeah, so I worked my
What?
regular job for like the first year and a half. Should I just keep going the whole story?
Well, what did you start in? Like, kind of your transition to,
Oh yeah, so like
you
that
know?
van, like 1500. It was like a 1978 Dodge Tradesman 200. It's like a American classic, you know. Like it was like a old. It wasn't like a VW, but it was like this more something with a big engine. It's like kind of like old, but the opposite of VW. It was like a gas guzzler, got like 8 to 10 miles a gallon, and it was carbureted, and it was always breaking it. And that was my first time ever having a car that like I really had to work on because something that's from
Yeah.
1978, every part is like vintage. It's crazy. Every part's cheap and it's like relatively easy to work on. Luckily, so I learned a lot. But I guess long story short, I like worked a ton of different jobs. I ended up taking that van to Tahoe to work in the mountains for the winter, and then it got hit by a snowplow one day while I was sleeping in it. Like, yeah, I was like driving. Yeah, I was like driving. I didn't put the chains on. It was like snowing a lot because I was like just trying to get down the road, you know, just like the sleep spot, and I just like worked all day.
It turned
And
you
then I
into
just
a
stopped on the
mogul.
yeah, I stopped. I stopped on the side of the road and just like yeah, just got hit, and there was like this hole this big. I called AAA. I'm like, tow me back, tow me back to. I just got towed back to the parking lot of where I worked, you know, the snow resort, and I
So,
basically lived there for like a couple weeks until security, like all the snow was piling up on the side of the van. Security was like, "Yo, you can't do that. Like, you can't, you know, you can't live here." I'm like, "Dude, I work here. You know, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, this thing, like, I hit by a snowplow and it's my home." And like, uh, yeah, basically I convinced them to let me like leave it parked there. So I like slept on the couch like this dude I worked with's house, and then I'd like just go walk into the van at like 4:30 in the morning, start making breakfast like in my van, like walk the dog. They were like thought I was still living there for a while. I was like, I'm no, I'm sleeping somewhere else, like on the couch down the street. Like I just come here and like live here in the day, like but I don't sleep here, you know. I was like that's
so it sounds like you got into van life kind of out of just like a necessity, and you just never look back, huh?
yeah. Yeah, I guess like so I just put all my stuff in storage to start with because it was like an experiment, and then I quickly realized like I my this guy my friend called me in San Francisco. He's like, we need you. This company called Freeboards, like snowboard on wheels. He's like, we need you to come run the warehouse. Like, you want a job up here? I'm like, sweet. And I'm like, I have a storage unit. I was like, I have to get rid of everything. Like, you know, like I realized storage unit's gonna hold me back, and the van life was like gonna be like a really sick adventure. And I didn't really have anything that like after doing the van thing for a while, I'm not even seeing the stuff. You don't even really. You're like,
Mhm.
whatever, just get rid of it.
Mhm.
Like it's not even that important.
Yeah, you haven't seen it
So
for
I
a
got rid of
year.
everything, and then just like kind of yeah, kind of went on that little venture. The van got hit. I went down and like worked again, saved up and like got a new van and just like kept it going. So
Nice.
um,
Yeah, I mean, how long have you been rent free?
uh, like 6 years with this like little 3 month gap, like about year and a half ago, when I was trying to build this thing, and then I was starting to like date the first girl I dated in like 8 years. We like rented a place for 3 years, and after like 5 years living in a van, like living in a house for the first time in that long, it's like, damn, get me out of here, like, and it's like super expensive.
Definitely.
House life is. I remembered why everything, you know, like it's just like, damn, like, uh, biggest take, I guess, if anyone could install foot pumps into sinks, because faucets are super inefficient. Like, you can't turn them off. You're like washing your dishes. You're like, I don't need the water even right now. I just need the scrub, you know. But like, it's a lot to manage.
Yeah.
So, Lee, you're all about stepping outside of your comfort
Mhm.
zone. I know you got it written in your van, and you've got us to step outside of our comfort zone. And, you use your van as a vehicle for like all these adventures. Like, were you always like an adventurous guy, or did you kind of come into all these amazing activities you do because you live in your van, or were you, I don't know, like, did you do that before, or did it kind of develop as you lived 6 years or whatever in your van?
Well, I guess like I used to run a website called adrenalinefueled.com. And adrenaline, it's like a rush that you get from doing something. I used to like, it was like mostly about downhill skateboarding and stuff. So I used to like bomb hills on skateboards and like street luge and stuff. And like, I remember when the first GoPro came out, like I thought that was so cool. I was watching so many like, you know, skydiving videos and like paragliding and like all that, rock climbing, all that kind of stuff. So it's like always something I've had interest in, you know, but sometimes like you have an idea, but like you don't even know how to get to it, you know? And like
Yeah, and
a lot
that's
of people
something
like
that you're really good at, is like finding these groups. Like, you know, like every time we see you, you're like, oh, I'm in this caving group in Montana, or I'm like in this paragliding group in Utah. Like, how do you find these groups?
And like, yeah, and it seems like you've learned all these skills
Yeah.
through these groups. Like, you're very resourceful when it comes to van life, and we're going to talk more about that. But yeah, just kind of people out there. I don't think that you taught us. I didn't know you could sign up for a canyoneering expedition and come out a canyoneer like you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess like with the internet and like social media and stuff these days, if you use it as a tool, like it's really like a good resource. But like the way they're designed is to like suck you in and take all your time, you know. But if you actually use it like as a tool, you can connect with anyone you want pretty much. So like I guess like we started realizing, well, like I guess like the it all started like with the whole finding groups and stuff thing. I guess started during COVID, actually, which is weird.
Yeah.
But like
a weird time to get in groups.
yeah, I guess like kind of that's like, you know, I like climbed with like some groups before, you know, but like actually like just seeking random ones out in random states. Me and Sider were like going around, and we well, like COVID hit, and then we're like everyone's like stopped traveling and stuff, you know. So we were like in South West Utah, and we're like hunkered down, like kind of like just not moving much like everyone else. We're still like climbing and stuff, but like just like there was actually where we were camped, you could like pretty much almost walk to this wall. It was cool. And then like there was some canyons that weren't far, and I had like gotten like taken through canyons, these two canyons, like one time, like about a year before, by this guy named Tyler J. Miller, shout out. But
Yeah.
yeah, like
You
he
know that
introduced
guy.
me to me. He took me through some canyons for my first time, and Steve was there too, free tired, and it was like actually like it turns out it was probably like the gnarliest condition, like some of the gnarliest like conditions I think you could do for canyoneering. I'm still, well, like to a certain degree, like I guess, but like, well, like just with the water aspect, it was really cold and like rushing water, and we were like rappelling down waterfall after waterfall after waterfall. Like it's really cold thing, and I guess like we had rented through like Tyler's work. He got us like these rentals on like dry suits, like boots, like coveralls, like everything you would need. But I didn't have these like neoprene gloves, and it just ended up being like kind of like a sufferfest. My hands were so cold the entire time.
Yeah.
But like it was really fun experience. So then like we were looking all over the internet and like learning. We found like canyoneering website that pretty much told you like all the information you need to know, and I saw how it was done kind of. So then we went to like a low commitment one, and we just like practiced all the systems and stuff. And then we went to like still probably one that's pretty considered low commitment. We started off like pretty small, but we were teaching ourselves, and then we're like searching on the internet and Facebook for canyoneering groups. You know, we found some groups, and then you could just go on Facebook and then search like rock climbing Montana. That's what we did in Bozeman. And then like we're like, yeah, we're new to trad, and we want someone to like teach us. And then this dude like we're probably he's gonna take us up a multi pitch, but started like raining right when we got to the crag, so we just did like single pitch in the rain, kind of. But
yeah, that's like what you're good at. Is you're good at like approaching people in person too that are doing what you want to do, and you just go up and are super hyped.
yeah,
And usually they invite you along. Like when you went to Beehive Basin in Montana, you were talking about learning to use all of your new ice gear and everything, and you got someone to take you up like a couloir, and it's just awesome how resourceful you are in like dreaming up an adventure and like finding your way to like become a master of it and like share it with other people. You like always share it with us, and that's super rad.
well, yeah, I guess like
Oh, I was gonna say
just to touch on that.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Oh, just to touch on that real quick. I mean, like that was like something that like started with van life too. Like I had been living in a van for a while, probably like 3.5 years before I had like even met too many other people. Like at the beginning, 6 years ago, there wasn't like everyone I would meet is just old retired people, and they'd be like, "Man, like I wish I did it when I was your age." Like, you know, and I'd be like, "Brad," like there wasn't really too many younger people, you know, like, and so, but like, I got invited to like this tiny house jamboree in Austin, Texas, and they're like, "We want you to come and like show your van as a homeowner." And I'm like, "I don't know." They're like, "We'll pay you $500." I'm like, "I'm there," you know, like, and they had me like do like a talk about van life on stage too. And it's my first time like camping out with actually ever like people living in vans, even though I've been doing it for like 3.5 years, like mostly in the city, you know, working jobs and stuff, or trying to like just find a place, parking at casinos in Tahoe or something, you know. But like, I guess like it all started one day. I was at Mammoth Skate Park, and this kid was like, we were skating the pool, and he's like, "Later, dude, we're gonna go like rock climb, bomb a hill and rock climb." I'm like, "Oh, damn!" Like I bomb hills. I was like, "Can I come rock climb with you guys?" You know, I just kind of asked, and they said sure. Yeah, they said sure, and this kid was like 18, you know, and I'm like, I think I was like, I don't know how old at the time, 29, 28. But like, anyways, times weird concepts. But yeah, I was just hoping this kid knocked enough, you know? Like it was terrifying. But that opened up like a whole new world to me, and like just that question and asking helped me do it. And then so then like I camped out at the wall for like the next 2 weeks, you know, like these guys like the pen rocks I had found shoes. I had the shoes, you know, I didn't even have a harness at first, and like people would show up at the wall and take like ropes out of the car. I'd like jump out of my van and be like, "Yo, like I just got these shoes. I went rock climbing for my first time. This would be like my second, you know, like can I come with you guys?" And everyone said yeah, pretty much. I mean, not pretty much every single person. I said yeah.
Yeah, climbers are super rad. Yeah, climbers are cool. Like Kevin surfs a lot, and like surfers are like, "Get off my wave," but climbers are more like inclusive, and they're like, "Come climb." Like we have an odd number, you know. They're always trying to like get everyone up on the wall.
Yeah.
So actually, even the climb we did in one more story about that real quick too. Even the climb we did in Bozeman basement, like we were in Bozeman and we went to the used gear shop, and like we got these crampons for like $30, and like I didn't even know how, you know, like, we got mountaineer shoes for like under 50 like great used gear shop. We were like climbing at.
You're breaking up. We're getting a lot of. You're breaking up a lot.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We lost you almost.
Is it good now?
It's better, I think.
It's better. Just
hello.
I don't know. We can hear you. So we lost you there, but we're just gonna move on. So Lee,
okay.
you're very You got it. You're very resourceful.
I can hear you.
You build your van at the makerspace. Just kind of like that's a great idea, and just kind of talk about like what a makerspace is, and just like how you use that, and like how much you paid, and like just that whole process of using that makerspace to build your current van, as well as helping Silent.
Yeah. Well, so like not all makerspaces are the same. We found like a really good one in Salt Lake, where it's like $50 a month, and it's like a household membership. So me and Sada were like on the same one, and what that
Nice.
$50 a month gives you, is 24-hour access to basically like they have like a metal shop, wood shop, 3D printers, laser cutters, textiles lab, like heavy duty sewing machine, embroidery machine. Like you can make decals, you can make like they got plasma cutter. They got like a CNC cutter for the wood shop, like where like you could program a design into your cabinets and like full custom, like have it like, or you could laser engrave into your cabinets. Like there's so many options, you know. Yeah, I don't know. The list goes on. It's a really good resource. Not all of them I found have the ability for you to park like vans and stuff, and not all of them are like 24 hours like that. So that's like pretty cool. But yeah, that was a really good resource just because like they have the space for you to do. Like you could just park in their parking lot, run an extension cord out to your van, and use their like tools out there. They got welders. They got like tons of stuff I don't even know how to use.
Yeah, is it Make Salt Lake? Paul Hinchell. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Make Salt Lake? Yeah, nice.
I can't even see if people are talking, so I hope people have questions.
$50
Oh, wow.
a month.
I can see now. I just clicked on
you might have been in the wrong thing. But so can you camp at the makerspace or like, and like about how long were you there to finish your van?
I'm sorry?
They have a shower. Ooh.
I said, how long did it take you to finish your van, and did you do it 100% in the makerspace, and also like could you camp there?
Oh man, DIY is never done, Kevin Denny. So like that's the thing is like you don't have to have your van completely finished to move into it.
True.
You could just have part of it done, like and like I don't know, like I'm not the kind of person that likes to spend too much time building. Like that's not what I like to do. Like I enjoy like spending more time on life. So like the faster I get it done, like better. Or like I just did it in like little spurts and stuff, you know. Especially like when you've been on the road for so long, you're like, damn, like sitting still in one spot for too long is hard. And so you like do like the important parts, you know, and then you like go and do some cool stuff, and then you like work on some more stuff, you know. I don't know. That's kind of how it went for me. But like I still have to do my plumbing next. It's like the same. I actually haven't had running water for 6 years. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what's your like first step then? You just chuck some insulation out there and you head straight to the crag, or is that kind of how you do it? And then when you get bored of that, you come back, you put a bed in it, and then you go to the paragliding launch site.
Well, this one, like I was gonna move into a Saturn. It was my first time trying it with another human. We pretty much like built like a bed. We had a counter. We had like I had like a shelf here. You know, there's short-term solutions and long-term solutions. So this was just like a simple little shelf. Just some storage spots, really, and like, oh yeah, and all this was done. Like all this, I don't know if you can see here. This, like, for all the clothes and stuff, that was all done too before we moved in. But like, we saw like a bunch of like drawers and stuff to do.
So,
yeah.
you know, making it happen doesn't mean that it has to be perfect. And, you know, do you want to just share with us your motto for life?
Wait, say that one more time. I was trying to read I wasn't in the chat at all, so I didn't know if anyone had questions. Maybe probably not.
I said making it happen. Making it happen doesn't mean you have to make it perfect. Like, why don't you share us your van life motto?
Pretty awesome. Yeah. I think I got oh man.
Kevin's
right
got
here.
you.
Pretty awesome. Woo!
What is shitty awesome?
it's like so like I've been calling like, well, like I guess like it all started with this dude Brad. He called this possession shitty sweet. I didn't really like get it, but like I always thought my van builds were pretty shitty, and people would be like looking in, they'd be like, damn, this is awesome, you know? And I'd be like, right on, you know, like things weren't straight, you know, like rare. It's hard to make things straight. I don't know how you guys do it. But like yeah, like it was shitty, but people still thought it was awesome. So I found out like things didn't have to be like perfect for them to be awesome. And I was like calling them shitty awesome for so long. And then my buddy Jim was like, oh, you know that shitty awesome thing? It's like real. It's like wabi sabi. And I'm like, wabi sabi? He's like, and I look it up. You know, it's the Japanese philosophy of the art of imperfection. So yeah.
We always knew
it's actually a real thing, but like I mean, like literally, like this drawer. Like I have this drawer here, and like it's the bread frame. Like I just had to sand like one side of it because the drawer like goes in like crooked, you know. Like, but just sanding this 1 2x3 just like enough, you know, made it work, you know. So like, however you can make it work, like I don't know. I just like don't want to do it again. I wanted to go back to my life. So like.
Like, I don't care if it's square. I just want to be in the sky in my parachute.
Well, not just that. Like, when you have to redo it, it costs money too. And the way I was building it was like, some of it was actually makerspace, but some of it was like with this like circular saw and like this like plastic thing that like sat on the end of the wood, and like going across the whole piece is like really hard. So sometimes it would get like crooked towards the end and stuff. Like, and then like once one piece gets crooked, like all of them start to get crooked, and then you're just like, fuck it.
So I see some questions coming in. We're going to answer more questions here in a bit at the end. And then I want to, next thing is Lee, you got the,
oh, yeah.
You said something one time, and I just thought it was like the greatest analogy. You said van life as a video game. Kind of just share what that's all about, and I think it's a really great concept.
Well, like I wrote like an article actually on my website, like or on the first issue of this magazine that we made, but it's called like I wrote articles like Van Life, the real life survival video game, because like that's more like what it was like for me. Like some people like they think, especially with like hashtag van life and stuff, they make it seem like you have to like start out with this van with like all the comforts, but like not really. Like you could like, in fact, like so many people out there start out with a van, they do like one thing, you know, and then they like make money and like they do another thing, like, you know, and you like keep upgrading it. Like, you know, running water is going to be like the best like level up ever. Like, or I guess, yeah, upgrade. It's leveling up. You level up in the van life video game, you know, like.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You just like figure out what you need, and that's the best way to do it too, because you figure out what's actually really actually important to you and what you actually need, like while you're on the road. Because so many times too, like especially your first build, you're gonna build it and then you're gonna want to like change things. So it's like sometimes it's nice to just like start in it and live in it, and then like it's easier to change some things around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, you start as this little guy, you know, your little van, and you run through the game of van life, and you go through all the BLM lands, and you get your levels up and your tokens, and maybe you get a mushroom here or there, and then you get bigger, and then, you know, it's like it's just never evolving. I just love that analogy. So,
or you level up in like your van, like you started with the Dodge, and then you went to another Dodge, I think, right? And then you went to the Vambulance, and then now you're in the Transit, you know? So you've leveled up even vehicles, you know?
Yeah, and that was a cool way to do it too, because like I only went with the Transit once I knew like it's for sure what I want to do for a long time. You know, it was easier to make a decision because it's like a much bigger commitment to do it with something like this. It's expensive, you know.
Yeah, and then you're kind of like afraid because it's so brand new, and you're like, what did I get myself into? And yeah, like Matt Bolton says, you got to have that cheat code, you know, when they're running the credits to get that $150,000 Revel van. So
we had someone on our YouTube that was like
People don't usually live in
asking
those.
us all kinds of questions, and they were like, we wrote them back, and they're like, oh, we just went with the Revel. So now that's like every time we see a Revel, we're like, oh, we just went with the Revel.
Hey, to each their own. Those are nice.
Yeah,
And
they are, right?
And everyone's in a different situation. If you've worked your whole entire life, you know, and you're just like, I just want some freedom and I have the money to do it because I worked my entire life. You're like,
Yeah.
whatever, just get that so you
Buy
don't have to
now.
build one. Building one is pretty stressful if you have like no skills, which I started with 0 skills. Like,
Yeah.
but it saves you a ton of money if you could do it yourself and learn it, and anyone could learn how to do it, especially with the information out there now. It's like crazy. Like in my first van, I just like wedged plywood into the walls and it stayed. There was no like screws even holding it, you know, like.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, and like you said earlier, you lived in your first van and you didn't even know how to cook a meal in the van, and you know, now you've progressed so far. Like, can you think of any other things when you first started living in the van that you were kind of like, you know, you're like, how am I going to do this? Like
obstacles.
Some people have no problem, but yeah, like cooking, you get in the van and you're like, some people are like, how do I cook in my van? Like,
so by the way, if there's anyone out there that's like listening, that's like thinking about van life, give a shout out. The first time, like, honestly, making that decision and then going through with it and doing it at first was fairly scary because like there wasn't that many people doing it and there wasn't that much information. So it was like it's pretty scary. And I guess like the real thoughts going through my mind when I was like first doing it was like, man, am I doing the right thing? You know, like I don't know, you know, like I guess something funny that people always ask, like, what's the biggest difference between back then and now? And I'm like, all the people that thought I was crazy back then, they think I'm awesome now.
Yeah.
Because like people are like, people back then are like, what the hell are you doing? And now they're like, damn, you're living the dream in the van, like, you know.
Yeah, now that it's like been popularized, people don't think we're like living in our car, you know, like that looks, I don't know, they used to think like, oh, they live in their car, but now it's like we're living the dream all of a sudden because of all these famous Instagrammers making us look cool or something.
Yeah, I always laughed at it. I was like, I inspired to basically be homeless and live in my van, and I've achieved my dream. So now I'm like, wow, I can do anything.
Yeah, and like a lot of those YouTube things aren't really like fair to like look at as reality of van life, I don't think, because like I don't know, like when I first started, like it was like sleeping on the I started like I was still working at the skate shop, I was like sleeping on the road like next to like houses and stuff, and then like trying to figure out like where you're gonna poop and stuff, especially in San Francisco. There's hard to find public bathrooms and stuff in San Francisco. It's weird, like so it's more like it was a lot different. And then like in Tahoe, it was like parking was limited. You had to like park at a casino pretty much to be like super stealth, you know, like it's not all like glamorous always like people make it seem, but it is all worth it.
Yeah.
100%.
No, and like Tesla Fudge in the comments says, you know, sprinters are so hot right now. Like, dude, the van market is crazy. Like,
yeah, you can't find.
We were talking earlier, like, you try to buy a van right now, you better like bring all your savings to buy like an '89 Dodge. Like, you probably, how much was your first van? You probably spent
$1,500. You said
$1,500.
Yeah,
ours was like $1,500,
and then like the second was like 3,000, like the '96 Dodge Ram conversion van, and like that same kind of van is going for like 9 to 10 grand now. It's 4 years later, so that's like an increase in like 3 times the price, and it's like older. So that's pretty crazy.
It really is.
Yeah, no, it's like you said, like with Silent, you guys bought a Transit pretty recently, and just kind of explain like how crazy it was just to get that. Like,
well, this was like before coronavirus and stuff. It was a little bit. It was still like I guess like the market was still like not the best, but like it is way worse now than even then. Like it's way different.
Yeah, it really is. It's hard to
Um,
find high tops and medium tops.
and it sucks because
Yeah,
like these old vans, like transmission, the engine, like you hear so many times about people having like these major repairs they do, and like you
Yeah.
don't. It's hard to that makes it really hard. I was
yeah.
like
While
managed
we're
like
on,
3.5 years of van life, fixing, fixing repairs and stuff. Sorry.
you're breaking up a bit, but um, I was going to talk about you had that 4x4 ambulance, and you had a bunch of problems with that, and you talk about like having some other problems with vans. Like, any advice to people out there that are still trying to get this budget route, and just like like any advice on buying a used van? Because I know you've bought a few, we've bought a few. Just any little
Tips for people looking at
yeah.
used vans.
Right now, the used van thing is hard because they're so expensive. But I guess like there's short-term solutions and long-term solutions, so you could always get that like used like van and not really like put any money into it. Just kind of use it as a temporary solution to get out of the rent trap, and then
Save money.
save money that way. I would think. But you gotta be careful to use vans because at this point, like when I see like the same van I bought for $3,000 for like $9,000 to $10,000, I don't think it's worth that price right now. Like
Mhm.
if you're gonna pay $9,000 to $10,000 for something like that, you might as well put like a down payment on something like way nicer, like a couple years old that's at a dealership. And you're gonna like you'll end up paying probably the same price for like that older thing, I think, from my
Yeah.
experiences, because of all the unless you're a mechanic. If you're a mechanic, then like hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
um
Come visit us.
yeah, yeah. But like yeah, the used van market right now is hard because I think there's like not enough vans for people that want to get into it right now or something. Like there's houses they make, like there's empty houses everywhere, but there's like all the vans and stuff uh
It's
are
hot.
yeah. There's competition, like I guess like it's like San Francisco, everyone's competing for those houses, the prices are going up. People I guess are competing for vans right now. That's
Yeah, that's
actually a
what
good
Matt Bolton even said. He said he had to get it shipped from Chicago because
Jeez, yeah.
Bay Area
oh
prices
shit,
were
dude.
outrageous.
There's some great info coming through in the chat. Like, thanks for all that, guys, because people on here are trying to get into this lifestyle, and anything you guys got to kind of
Oh
put your
yeah.
2 cents in is great because it helps the whole community and everyone achieve their dreams. And you guys are here, and we're here to help. So
Yeah, if anyone has questions too, I think we could try to answer them as we go through it too, right?
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
answer them at the end. I can scroll back through, but we got a few more questions, and then we'll open it up for questions.
So the Vankookz platform is all about getting people empowered to be able to like do this lifestyle. And a lot of people have this like fallacy that you have to be rich. Like, what do you say about that? Like, you think it could be totally done on a budget lifestyle? Like for you, it was last resort van life. That's what it started as, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, like I just started like I was like living paycheck to paycheck, and I just saved up $1,500 and got a van, and then like immediately it was like saving up money. It was pretty rad. Like, and I was like all of a sudden like I guess like right at the beginning too. Like I was just like, damn, there's so much time in the day because you like go and do something, you're kind of uncomfortable, in your van, so like you don't want to spend much time in it, but like you're like, all right, I did that. Now what's next? What's next? And like it's really really exciting. Even more so at the beginning. And it continues to be like a really cool adventure.
That you don't think
But
that you have to be super rich to do, right? Like,
I mean, I just kept my same regular job. Nothing changed,
yeah.
My paychecks just went more into my pocket instead of like rent.
Yeah, I really feel like it helps you get ahead because you're able to like save all that rent money, like what you'd normally be spending, and just use it on normal everyday things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got our first van for $500, and I remember like the first day we were like, we just threw the air mattress in there. We were like, this is dope, because rent was like $1,000-something bucks or whatever. I was like, this is way better than rent. Like,
For a
look at
room.
my room, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like one thing too, like right at the beginning, like that was kind of surprising was I think I was like sleeping way better actually in the van than I was in the house, which is like an unexpected thing. And you like kind of like my whole schedule changed too, like with the sun. Like I was way more in tune with the sun. Like sun comes up, I'm like, I'm up. Like sun goes down, you're like, I don't know what to do. Like I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That melatonin really kicks in when you're
Yeah, and I
living
just had like
outside.
these like $10 pack of like 3 battery powered lights at the beginning. I literally didn't even have electrical, like nothing. Like it's battery powered lights that I just stuck them to the ceiling and like would click them off, like click them on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had little like fairy lights, little
Mhm.
battery powered ones that we just like wired like around everywhere.
Yeah. So short-term
All right.
solutions, long-term solutions.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's great.
They lead to long-term solutions for sure.
So Lee, you got
I'm
the
here short-term.
van life is not a crime shirt. Like most people know you as the van life is not a crime guy. Like just kind of tell us what that's all about. You know.
Well, I guess like I just was always a skater, you know, so like skateboarding is not a crime. I'd always like be like seeing the stickers and stuff, and like we had like Street Leaders Not Crime group on Facebook and stuff. So like, and I guess like when I first started, I worked at my same job, you know, and like it was in the skateboard industry, and then like I was finding myself spending a lot of time at the skate park, and like the skate park, it was like in Orange County, California, and the skate park there, like the cops, they just like had it out for people. Like they did not like, I don't know, like they wanted to give everyone tickets for like helmets. Like when I was like younger, they'd like come and they'd like come from different angles. Like they were like, you know, it was like a drug parade or something. Like, and then people be like all jumping the fence in different directions, and like they'd be trying to figure out like who was skating and who wasn't. Like sometimes they'd like just shut the skate park early. You're like, what the hell? But like they basically like they didn't really like me being like parking there too much or something. Like I guess I was hanging out the skate park too much, so I had like a lot of flack from like the park cops, which they're not like they're like real cops, but like their whole job is like to guard the park, you know? And so like they're extra like crazy or something. But like but yeah, I don't know, like they'd always be giving me shit, and like so I just was like, van life's not a crime. Like skateboarding's not a crime, van life's not a crime, you know? Like
Yeah, so I mean we've gotten not very many parking tickets in van life. Have you ever had any run-ins where you've gotten just one? Yeah,
and it was where I worked
two.
in San Francisco. I was parked on the street, and you have to move your vehicle every 4 hours, and I just missed a window to move it. So I got one while I was working.
All right, guys. So you heard over 6.5 years in his van, 1 ticket. So this guy is like, we've done 5 years, we've gotten 2 tickets.
His
parking tickets?
Yeah, San Diego, and then we got one at Bend at the Standing Wave. We were like in the van, and then I was like went to move it, and I had a ticket.
We totally didn't pay it though.
I got woken up in San Diego one time. This guy called the cops, and he said that I was blocking his view of the ocean.
Yeah.
That's how we met one of our other really good friends.
We've noticed though, if you're registered out of state, you really don't have to pay the ticket. There you go.
3 years.
Ooh, Chris,
yeah,
there you go. Boss life.
He's winning so far.
All right, Lee. So venting ain't no joke. Like, what's it all about? Where did it come from? And just kind of what can we expect from venting ain't no joke? We've been anxiously waiting for episode 2, man.
Yeah. So I forgot my whole philosophy, shitty awesome, you know, and I just wanted like episode 2 to be like pretty rad. And so like it made it like it kind of blocked me from like working on it, I think. But I'm going back to shitty awesome, and episode 2 is going to be called the shitty awesome issue because I forgot about shitty awesome, so it's going to be shitty awesome. but it's gonna have like lots of good information. But vanning ain't no joke. Like came from like I guess like when I was gonna get that first van, this $1,500 1978 Dodge van. I didn't really like know much about old vans, you know. But like the one guy that rode for us that had like an old van, I sent him a picture of it, you know, and I sent him the Craigslist ad, and I was like, "Yo, man, what do you think about this van?" And all he replied to me was, "Vanning ain't no joke." You know, that's all he said. And so like I'm like, I don't know what that means, you know? And so I'm just like thinking, and I had to make the decision in my mind. I'm like, whatever, if it drives, I'm buying it, you know? And so then like, I bought it, you know, and then like quickly I found out why he said that. Like, vanning ain't no joke. It was like real. It was like, it was always breaking down and things were happening. And like, you know, I'm just living in this van that I just put a bed in, and like, there wasn't much information. I just threw Reflectix in the wall and wedged some plywood in there, and it was like, cool, I got a wall, you know. So like, it was not like what you see on Instagram. Like, it was more like this, you know, this situation kind of ain't no joke right now. But it was like a trade off of freedom for comforts for me. So it was like definitely not as comfortable as living in a house, but like the freedom I found was like amazing. Like on the weekends, I would just go sleep up in the mountains, like in the San Bernardino mountains, and like there's this one kid that like lived there in his van, and he just like bombed the hill on a skateboard every day. So I just go like park next to him, and like we'd wake up and we just like bomb the mountain road like in the morning. So I was like just like spending more time in like spots I wanted to be, I guess.
You just, yeah, that's what it's all about, right? You just wake up and you're there, you know, and you're like, I didn't pay rent to be at the mountain, to like be snowboarding or whatever it is. Like, that's what I love. Like, you can be the first person there sometimes with vans. You know, you're like, they're like, how'd you get here so early? You're like, I slept here.
I parked my house here.
My house is in the parking lot. So yeah. We love all your stickers, and we love to like if you want to show people, you know, some stickers you got, and let people know like how people can get a hold of that Van Life is Not a Crime swag and other cool stuff, because Lee's got every sticker you'd ever want.
If you lived in your car, you'd already be home. And if you notice on this one, I spelled lived wrong. But people think it's really cool still. There's only been like 2 people ever that have told me they can't stick it on their car because lived is spelled wrong. I've reordered the sticker spelled wrong like 3 times. That's shitty option for sure for you. So I'm not even gonna spell it right at this point because it's like cooler spelled wrong, you know, like
yeah.
Yeah, you got the Van Life is Not a Crime stickers. People always ask, are you gonna live in a house? Are you gonna live in a are you gonna do something else? I'm like, nah, I'm gonna stay in the van.
They never get told. I love it. Dave's on top of it.
Don't become a robot. This one actually came from like when I worked at the skateboard company. Like I got laid off from one skateboard company because like they owed their people that made their stuff like a lot of money. They don't even exist as a company anymore. But like I walked across the parking lot to this other company that was a skateboard company. I convinced them that they like their social media sucked and they needed someone to do it all. And so then I got another job right across the parking lot. Basically, this guy like named Dwayne Peters, he worked there, and he spent a lot of time in jail. From like he's one of the old skaters that's like a lot of drugs and shit. And he got like the guy that owned that company bailed him out of jail and had his whole skateboard collection, I guess, like as like you know, like to get it back, he had to pay back the bail money to the guy to get his skateboard collection back or something. He had something worked out, but he was like working it off, and he'd come in for as long as he could tolerate for that day. He'd be like going around putting the skateboards together and stuff. And he'd be like, you might see me like putting together skateboards, like going up into the rafters and stuff, but like I'm not a robot, man. He'd be like, whatever you do, don't become a robot. And I always thought that was really cool. It always stuck with me. He'd always say it with these like intense eyes too. Like that guy had some crazy stories, but like yeah, like so I made these "Don't Become a Robot" stickers just because like that always really resonated with me. Like, yeah, don't ever become a robot. And then like when you go around, you can tell the people that are robots, you're like, you know, like
Yeah, no, now,
it's
especially
actually
now. There's a lot of
kind of
robots out
sad
there.
because it's actually kind of sad because society is like programmed people to like act and do things in a certain way and stuff, and it's actually really hard to break free from that mold. You know, I was actually stuck in it for a long time myself. But once you break free of those chains, it's like the best thing ever.
Mm.
It's like pulling the plug on the Matrix.
Yeah.
Adventure before dementia, baby. All right, Lee. So, last time, we saw you last year and you're like, I'm going to be a paraglider. I'm going to do paragliding. And I was like, I don't know, man. That looks pretty crazy. And then, I guess I can't even answer the question. I was going to say, you paraglide. What's next?
The future is the future,
Kevin.
Lee has spoken.
Baba Kook.
But yeah,
it's funny you should ask about what's next, Kevin, because the whole reason I made these the future stickers, is because like I found out that making plans sucks. Because when you make plans, it creates like expectations, and expectations like are hard to like when you have an expectation for something, that's hard to like live up to, you know? So like it's better just like live real in the moment, and like you take opportunity when it comes, for sure, like because opportunities don't always come twice. So if like you get opportunities to say do something, you say no, you might not get that opportunity again. So like anything, like someone's like, you want to do this, you're like, fuck yeah. You know, like, but yeah, the future is the future. Like plans suck, they create expectations. I usually just try and tell people that the future is the future, because also once you have projected your plans to people, like talking about the future sucks too, because like you're like, I'm gonna do this, and then if you're like not doing those things, people are like, what happened? But if you never like really thought about the future much, and you didn't like tell people all these things, then you're like got no commitment to do like anything, and you could like change your mind, because like that we're humans and we change our minds, like that's just like our natural instinct, and we get bored of things too, like plans change, like, so don't make them. The future's the future.
Yeah.
And if you look at the future is a future sticker, the background is space. And when you're looking into space, you're looking into the past. But when you're reading the sticker, you're reading it in the present. But by the time you brain registered it, actually, it's like the past kind of.
Past,
but like the future is the future.
Clean up in my van. My head just exploded.
And Wander just wanted to let you know that only you could prevent forest fires. Anyway,
how is Wander doing? Is he around? Is he?
Oh, he's just like sleeping right here.
Oh, hey, there we go.
Hey,
chillest dog ever, unless there's a drone.
Yeah, just don't fly like your drone.
Yeah, he's like almost 9 now.
So Lee, where can we get the stickers? And we'd love to see more.
You get the stickers at vanlife.com, and there's actually various like gear shops you might come across, like in different states and stuff, that you can pick them up at too, like the Gear Room in Salt Lake, the Used Gear Shop in Bishop. There's a few, but like mostly just on the website is probably the best spot, and I always like throwing a couple extras when people order too.
Ooh, there you go.
Nice.
vanlife.com. It's on sale right now too, because I got a lot of stickers, and I don't want to carry like I'm gonna order less quantity, so I don't have to carry like so much stuff around.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do got Guru Lee in the house, David. We call him Baba Kook sometimes. All right, Lee, we're going to give you a few questions, and then we're going to hop to questions from all the Kooks out there. So
load up the chat if you got any questions.
It's going to be 5 pretty quick questions. So
also, like the Kooks have a lot of experience too. So if you guys have any questions about like anything in van life, like there's a lot. There's probably between me and Danny and Kevin, we've got like a lot of years of experience. I'm not good at
12 years.
Yeah.
So Lee, are you more an ocean guy or more of a mountain guy?
Mountain probably. Like, man, I've tried surfing and dude, it's hard. Like, I'm not like that. Like water. Like, I'm not like. I'm more mountain.
Yeah, I think most people would think you might be a gnarly surfer, brah. So what
Nah.
we see you on
I've
you guys
tried.
gotta follow Lee on Instagram. It's at Freedom the Vantion, and I'll chuck it in the chat here. But we see you all the time. You're flying high in the sky, way high, way up there. Are you more of a into the flying or climbing? Have you taken up a new interest, or are you still a climber at heart?
Right now, probably like both are like it kind of like depends on where you're at, you know. But right now, the flying is more intriguing to me, I think, because paragliding is like you could go really far. Like the record flight is like 300 and something miles, I think, like on a paraglider. And like when like recently in the Santa Barbara mountains, like people fly from Santa Barbara to Ojai, people fly from there to like different places and stuff, and you could explore like an entire mountain range in a couple hours in the morning on a paraglider. You know, you could like go like 3 miles across like an entire mountain range and see like all this cool shit. I'm not like at that level where I'm doing those kinds of flights yet, but I mean like I flew like around like just like back and forth through like different mountain peaks for like 24 miles the other day. Like I had a little GPS tracker thing.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, and I was like up there for like shit like just a little over an hour, you know, and I went that far. But some, you know, like a lot of paragliders will say like the adventure doesn't start till you land because you can get like so far into the middle of nowhere and then like you don't find like you know you're all of a sudden you're experiencing like sinking air, or you get like blown back because the wind's too hard and you could get like blown over the mountaintop and then you got like a big old hike ahead of you. So like
Jeez,
it's
I
just
didn't
like a
think of
crazy
that.
it's just like a whole nother adventure because like you can just like see and do and go so far. There's actually like this father and son. I was listening to the podcast. They flew the entire Rocky Mountain Range tandem. Like the father flew with his son
Whoa.
on his belly. They use like the paraglider as like a, a sleeping bag at night, and like yeah, like it took them. I forgot how long, but they started near Canada and ended near Mexico, and just like
Jeez,
saw how far they could go for the day.
that's incredible.
Find a place to camp, you know, like hike back up the mountain, take off.
I
Whoa.
didn't even know that was possible. You just blew
Yeah,
my
it's like
mind. I thought you were saying like you went like from Boulder to like Breckenridge. You know, you're like,
yeah, but
nah, you did the whole thing.
there's this one guy that had this story where he's like, I was flying, like he took off from like Snowbird in Utah, and he's like was in Wyoming. He's flying over Wyoming. He flew like through Wyoming. He was doing a long distance. He got like 80 miles away, and then he was like had to go land, and he found a field to go land in, and he like came down. He was flying at like 17,000 feet or something. He got like an inch of ice on his beard and mustache, and when he landed, it was like 90 degrees. And this mom and child like came running over, and they're like, "Where'd you come from?" And he's like, "Snowbird." And then like they just like looked at him like he came from space and backed up. He said, like slowly, like
All right, so we've been on the Nature's Head team now for 3 years, and we know you just recently got on board. So now having one and not having
night,
one, like
David.
composting toilet or no composting toilet, you think they're legit, or are they all just
Oh man, dude, like I
internet
haven't had
gossip?
I haven't had a different toilet than the Nature's Head, and before that, like my emergency poops were in bags, like dog bags. So like this is way better. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
actually,
Upgrade, level up.
the Nature's Head, to be honest, like I oftentimes would rather use this than sometimes public restrooms. Some of the public restrooms are like so gross, and emptying this thing is not even
Yeah.
that gross at all. Like sometimes emptying this is like less smelly than just like taking a shit in a public bathroom. So
Yeah.
like what
Yeah.
It's so
whatever.
weird how that happens. I'm like,
No.
why does poop smell worse when you poop in water? Like, what's
Yeah.
the deal with
So
that?
Yeah.
also, next question is like everyone's obsessed with these van life showers. Like, Do you need a shower? Like, what do you do? You know, just
Shower, no shower?
yeah.
So I've always just had like a Planet Fitness membership. When I first started van life, the first gym I went to was like 20. I guess like first I had the shower at my work, but then like I wanted showers on the weekends too. So I got like a 24-hour gym membership, and then like that gym, the 24-hour gym was like fitness gym, the local one to where I was like working at. Their gym was like a prison shower, kind of like where all the showers were just like in a room, like 6 deep, and so it was like kind of like, and then Planet Fitnesses were like just starting to open up back then, at least in that area. And then like I remember the first Planet Fitness opening, I'm just like, I'm switching gyms, and they're because like they have like a curtain over their showers, like that's way like more comfortable.
Yeah. Are they back up and running now? Can you hit Planet Fitness up, or is it still kind of weird?
Area. It depends on the area. So yeah, it's been hard with like coronavirus. You can always boil water and like put some essential oils in there. That works pretty good. Baby wipes, but also like during coronavirus, I found out I joined Pilot Flying J's commercial drivers program. You just go in there and you're like, yeah, I'm a commercial driver, and like, all right, and they put you on the rewards card program. And if you're like diesel, it's already set up for like shower rewards or whatever. But if you're in a gas van like me, you have to call them up because automatically it's like set up to be like just giving you some money off of the gas. But if you call them and you're like, I want shower rewards instead, you'll just pay full price for the gas, and then every like 50 miles you like earn a free shower. And those are really nice too, because like me and Cider would just go into the same like shower, and we get like our own private room. Like we like shower together. It was awesome, actually.
Yeah,
And they were
that's
always like
amazing.
pretty clean. Yeah, they were always pretty.
What was
clean
it called?
Stuff.
Super J's or
Pilot Flying J. It's like a truck stop, and then like yeah, you just tell them you're a commercial driver. You don't have to prove it.
Cool, dude. That's huge. Anyone that's still here.
And it kind of like has a time limit on how like it works if you're like driving a lot, because there's a time limit on how much you're filling up the gas. But like oftentimes I've gone in there and I've just been like, I think I have a free shower, and I didn't, and they're like, they just add the points, and then they like still got me a free shower somehow.
Kenny says they have laundry too.
Yeah, that's true. But the laundry,
cool.
Oh yeah, I don't know how much it costs.
All right. Well, I guess the next question is where to next, but the future is the future, so I'm not even going to dare ask probably the question that the guru won't even answer.
Well, actually, like I see myself in the Utah area around March.
Okay.
If anyone, and I'm trying to start this like adventure group too. I should mention it's like a van like adventure group for people to be able to meet up and like do these kinds of things, and like there'll be like days where like people could like learn how to climb and stuff like that, I think. So we might try and do our first things in Utah, depending on coronavirus, but we'll be like in the boonies in Utah, so I'm sure it'll be all good.
What is it? It's going to be a website or a Facebook group, or
it's going to be like I guess a website. It's hard to know yet.
You could start on Facebook, probably easy, and then build it up and transfer it over. But
if anyone knows about making like stuff like that, hit me up.
Yeah, Lee wants to create a van life adventure group. So anyone in the comments that has a good idea on how he can get some people joining this group, we'd love to see it. And also, we're about done. There's some questions coming through at the beginning. Let's see if I can get to a lot of it. Shout outs to everyone that showed up. Tesla Fudge, Expanding Explorers, David, I think he took off. Chris, Matt Bolton, always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Someone says they're going to start car camping. Yeah, that's a great place to start in the car. Like, get a feel for the lifestyle, see if you want it.
Totally.
Right?
Mm-hmm. There's lots of people I meet in cars, like, and that's the thing too, is like when you're actually out there too, like there's people in all sorts of different rigs and stuff. So even though vans are expensive right now, if you could get creative, you know, you could probably still find something for a good deal. It just might not be like an actual van.
Yeah, I've seen some really cool Honda Element build outs.
Yeah, like truck
Kenny-
campers and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Kenny's asking if he's in Quartzsite. It looks like we got Carol in the house. I know our buddy Free Tired and Wild One Rising and some other kooks are out there on Adventure Island. I talked to Steven last night. We're going to bring him on live hopefully in a few weeks.
it looks like Chris has some idea. I'll hit you up too in Utah, Chris.
Dave says,
Y'all
where are you
hit
going
me up or something
snowboarding?
so I know.
Any snowboarding this year?
Snowboarding this year? No, not this year.
Yeah,
Snowboarding is really
rough,
expensive
man.
unless you.
Yeah, this year's
unless you
weird
work.
too.
Yeah, it's expensive and you get super wet and you like get the van just like, I don't know. I don't love snowboarding out of the van, and this year's like been a pretty rough year here in the southern US.
This year's actually more about paragliding. I'm trying to get to I want to get to the point by the time I'm 35. I'm 33 right now, where I'm certified to do tandems for paragliding, so I could share the gift of flying with people and stuff.
So Charles says, we're doing van life build series right now. Nice. People need all the help they can get. We are not interested in quotation van life or maybe hashtag van life. I'm not sure what that means. That's probably what it means.
Yeah, like he's not interested.
He says
in
he
that.
sometimes worries about van lifers do not have well planned retirement plans. It is coming, ready or not. Well,
I think I'll work at Home Depot.
So like, it's kind of funny actually. Like, I look at like retirement and all that like so different. Like, I'm like, man, like I could work when I'm old. Like, like you know, that's the time where I'm gonna pause and stay still and like could do like some like thing where I have a schedule and gotta do like it from like this time to this time, and it takes up my life. But like, you're only at this age, like you're only like. You only have so much time to do things, and life could also just like end any day. You could just die like tomorrow. Like, there's no guarantees except for death. Death is the only guarantee in life. Like, that's the only thing we all know that we're gonna end. You know, we all just know we're gonna die, and we don't know anything else for sure about our lives. And so it's like, and we don't know when it's coming. And some people like die really young. Freak accidents could happen. So it's like, I just want to like have all of my life experiences. Like, if I died tomorrow, I'd be like, damn, I did a lot of cool shit, you know, like whatever. Like, my life was awesome while I was here. Like, there's no guaranteed time. So like, I spent that 33 years of my life that I was here the best fucking way I could. So like, retirement isn't even on my mind. Like, I'll work when I'm old or something like that. Like,
sometimes it's like it's too hard to do some of the stuff that we do. Like when we went to the Tetons with you, some of that stuff was hard. I don't think I could do it as a 65-year-old.
Especially if you've been working like before that, you know. Yeah, like there are 65-year-olds that could do that, but they weren't like they never stopped, you know. Like this one skater dude, like he had this quote like, you don't get old because you stop skating. Or no, you don't stop skating because you got old. You got old because you stopped skating. But like, that's just not skating. It applies to like really anything. Like, if you stop doing things and stuff, like when you start again, it's gonna be so much harder. Like, like once you stop moving, oh man, it's hard to get moving again. I think like,
motion is lotion.
What?
Motion is lotion. That's what I've heard. Yeah, big shout out to Kenny. He's been throwing down some
really good tips,
some wise one-liners out there.
Yeah, I've seen some of them. It's hard for me to follow all of it while.
No, it is. Yeah, we got to figure out a plan on how to follow the chat better.
But is there more questions? Is anyone out there like looking to live in a van that's not living in a van yet, by any chance? That like,
You get old when you buy a couch.
When you buy a goddamn couch, that's so funny.
Rob in the house. Never stop. Shred till
Yeah,
you're dead.
age is just like a mentality kind of too. But yeah.
Well, Lee, you're full of great advice, and your van's got all the words of wisdom that you've written all over it.
Yeah, it says right here, LSD, low stress diet, baby.
Low stress diet.
I got that from I got Swiftwater Rescue certified, and the instructor was always like, we'd have to jump in like the rapids and stuff, and he'd be like, just have an LSD low stress diet, baby. You know, like get it true. Like when you're like fucking like in that crazy like world and you're like swirling through all those rapids and shit. Like if you just calm down and relax and just like put your feet forwards, you're like gonna have a way better time.
Yeah, even
Yeah,
when
than
you're in
fighting.
stressful life, you got all these crazy thoughts coming, and if you just kind of
Roll with it.
That's like
relax,
that's actually
you know.
yeah, and that's actually true. It brings up a good point that like van life, if you don't already have a strong like mental like if you're not strong like mentally, like it teaches you how to become strong mentally, because like when your entire home breaks down and like you find out it's gonna be like a month or like your parts come at the mechanic, you don't know how you're gonna live for a month, like you figure it all out. And that's the thing too, anything you'd ever be worried about is like stuff you figure out, you know. So like there's a lot there's a lot when people are being stopped from like living in a van, like there's like a lot of like worries and like, you know, how's this gonna work, and you are kind of like relearning how to live. Like it is a lot different. You gotta like create your own power, your own water, like you're not relying on the grid, you're not hooked up, so like there's a lot of uncertainties, but all those things that you're not sure about or you're scared about or you're worried about is all stuff you just like figure out.
Yeah.
No, it's true. Everything is figure outable is the quote I heard, and I'm like, it really is. I got this is Slammin says he's 51 and he wants to start. What do you got for him, Lee? I mean, your mom's out there doing it, right?
Yeah. So my mom actually called me like homeless for 5 years, and then she started living in an RV. And like one of our first conversations after she started doing it, she's like, "This is the way life's supposed to be lived. I love it." Like, but yeah, if you're 51 and you want to start, like a lot of it just depends on the situation you're in, and everyone is different. But like, I'd say just like get something basic and try it first to see if it's something you want to do long term.
Yeah.
And also like it depends on like how you want to spend your life and stuff too. But if you hit us up, we could like help you more and figure out what your situation is. I don't know. That's the thing, is like everyone's situation is different, you know, like what everyone wants. You can make your van into anything you want. I've seen like people have a tattoo studio in their van. I've seen people like you know, you make your van work for you. So that's why there's so many like different types of rigs and stuff out there. It's kind of cool. And then some people live on a giant school bus, and some people like live in a fucking like Honda Element. You know, you're like, I couldn't do I couldn't do that Element thing myself. So like, props to those people. Some people have more possessions than others. Some people, like, what's important to you is not what's important to someone else, and you're gonna make your van work for what's important to you.
Slammin says he's 51 and he says he's been doing it for a few months in the Subaru. Like, that's pretty impressive. Perfect. Like, he's ready.
Yeah, for sure.
You're ready, man. We're gonna see you out there soon. You gotta just get all those Vankookz videos, leave them on repeat, give us those fractions of opinion, and then we'll be able to put gas in our tank. We'll see you out there, baby.
Yeah, and if you're on the fence about doing it too, just make like that pros and cons list and like decide, like, I don't know, it might help you just see, like, it helped me like see like that there was way more pros than cons, and that's what helped me make the decision that that's like for sure something I wanted to do. So
yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, very logical.
Well, right on, Lee. It's been great.
COVID has wiped him out. Yeah, with COVID right now,
I see a lot of people on the road. We saw so many people that were like last resort van lifers, you know, like they were going out there because COVID had them on what they were also calling fun employment, you know, so they were out there just running around using their unemployment and enjoying life in their own cars that they had. You know, they didn't think that they needed to go buy any different vehicle than their Honda Civic or whatever they were in. It was pretty inspiring just to see people getting after it when given the chance.
And also, if you could keep doing in the Subaru, this is slamming, like, that's like a good way to save up money. You could like work a regular job still and do the Subaru and save up money and like sell that Subaru, put a down payment on the van. There's lots of different ways. Like Kookz actually are probably better at that than me. They've got videos on how to like do lots of stuff to like be able to get vans. don't you, Kookz?
Oh yeah, we got a whole
website,
and we're working on a video on how to show you how we built a van for like $6,000. That will be coming out soon.
And you guys lived in a Subaru too.
Yeah. And look, you got your
two
mom on here.
2 people in a Subaru.
Yeah, your mom's 63.
Yeah, Fern says 63 and loving it. Almost Lee's whole family lives on the road, so that's pretty awesome. Like the Eislers are always a good time. Yeah, Slammin', you'll get there, man. Just keep manifesting it. You'll be there soon.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get like, I guess you could say, your forever rig. But also like an important thing too is if you're getting a van that's like not your long-term van or something that's older, I don't think it's worth putting like too much time and energy into it, because once you put like too much time and energy and money into something, like once the engine goes out or something, you're gonna be like, damn, now I have to fix it. I put like months into this thing, you know, it's my home, you know. But if it's, like,
that's huge.
Yeah, if it's something you haven't put too much time and energy into, it's easier just to like move into a new home, and sometimes that's even cheaper than fixing it. But if you, I don't know, I see it all the time, like something major happens, people put a lot of time and energy into it, so they like put a lot of money into like the engine, you know, more than you would if it wasn't your home. So
yeah, no, dude, wise words from a wise OG van lifer. But yeah, Lee,
I had to learn the hard way. Don't learn the hard way.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, Rob, thanks, man. Yeah, let us know. It worked out pretty good, that bed platform, because we want to figure out how to like get more out on the market. So
yeah,
well, shout outs to everyone showed up. Fern, it's great to have you in the chat.
In the house.
And everyone else that came. We broke a record today. We did more than we did last stream, so you know we're moving on up in the world.
Level up.
Yeah, thank you all for coming. I hope you learned something. Follow the Kookz, Vankookz, and follow Freedom Invention.
Yeah, and we're so grateful to have you on.
Actually, if you have any more questions too, you could leave them in the comments on this video, right, Kookz? We'll answer them.
Hey, Van Vita Travels.
Nice, Van Vita. She got us on our first stream. So thanks. But Lee, how do people, you know, find the domain that is Lee? I know you're online and you got a bunch of stuff going on. So just where do they find you?
The domain that is Lee. I
don't know what to call it, dude.
Well, like vannyandthejoke.com, I'm gonna start working on it more, because like I remembered I started it because like I just thought like people need to see other people doing the van life thing to be able to convince to do it. And when you look at the information out there, some of it's like seems very unattainable. So I wanted to provide more like information that made it more like seem more attainable to like anyone. So vannyandthejoke.com, and then on Instagram at Freedom the Mansion, because this one's the mansion because it's the first one I could stand up in. It's like a mansion compared to my first van. Yeah. So
nice. Well, thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on Vankookz Live. We might even call it Van Live. But we're going to be back. We're going to have someone new next week. We don't know who yet, but we will find a kook out there who wants to get grilled. And also, if you can Venmo us. I know YouTube has that pay button, but they just steal all your money. Big tech takeover. But big shout outs to everyone that came, and thanks to Lee. And make sure you check Lee out on Instagram and online, and we will see you guys next week.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming and hanging out with us.
Woo! Kookz.
Wait, should we end with the song?
Yeah.
Sure, the song. Let's see. Get us started
wrote
here.
This song at Descend on Ben.
I'm a kook.
I'm a kook. You're a kook.
I'm a kook. You're a kook. We're all kooks. Kooks.
It's kooky over here.
It's kooky over there.
Kooks everywhere. Kooks. And also, like, just before everyone leaves too, like, what's the definite? Why do you guys call, like, what's it mean to be a kook? What's it mean?
Well, a kook is basically someone who's just like
a beginner,
a newbie or a beginner, or someone new to like a scene, and they're there. They don't care that they're absolute goobers, and they just look like beginners, and all the veterans are like, who is this kook? But kooks don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care what they look like. They want to do it because they want to have fun and try something new. So
yeah, they don't let the judgment bring them down. They're just gonna send it. They
don't care that their wetsuit's backwards.
They don't care that they're canyoneering in a bike helmet.
Yeah.
And we all have to be kooks at some point. Sometimes it might feel uncomfortable, but you gotta just embrace the kookiness.
Yeah. Every legend was a kook at one point.
Yeah. Even Kelly Slater himself was a kook at one moment,
Totally.
Well, peace, guys. And we'll be back next week, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and we'll have some more kooks on, and we'll just keep addressing all your van life questions. And we want to get you guys on the road because we need more people in our kook circle because they're dwindling. Not really.
Yeah.
Also, check out the churchofvanlife.com. I started the website. Soon there'll be like a little email list to try and like join up so we can all meet up and do like really cool adventurous stuff. Like,
yeah, and if you watched any of the vlogs, we go on a couple of the like pre-Church of Van Lives where he's testing it out. We're like in the beta group,
Yeah.
So it's pretty fun.
And the Church of Van Life, like, think of it like it's not a religious organization. I guess like it's not a cult either. It's just like a movement, it's a movement of people like living in vans, and that means off grid and not supporting the whole system too, because like the whole house thing is like so unsustainable. Like I don't even get it.
No.
Yeah, it's hard to go back.
Yeah.
But yeah, later, guys. We had a great time, and we'll have Lee back on for sure. He'll probably be a regular guest on the Van Live.
I wonder if you can
like and subscribe.
You Vankookz.com.
Yeah, and vankookz.com.
Good night. Bye, Lee.